Hi, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 5 minutes. So we're going to get folks a couple minutes to join. Welcome. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. A reminder that we're going to start promptly at 5:05, so that's in 4 minutes. We'll be starting in 4 minutes. All right, good evening, SHPE Familia, and welcome to the 2021 Scholarship Webinar Series. We are so excited to launch our scholarship application today, February 1st. The purpose of this first webinar is to give you an overview of the scholarship program, so you have all the information you need to apply to our scholarships and share them with others. While we can't cover every last detail, you should have the information you need to get started and know where to ask questions should you have them. Remember, we are here to support you. Before we get started, some housekeeping. If you have any questions for me or for SHPE, please go ahead and type them in the chat box, or also submit them via Twitter. You can tag us at SHPE, that's at SHPE. I'll share my Twitter handle as well. Our social media team will love you. And this is also a great way to really build some buzz and awareness around this program that we want to share with as many members that can apply as possible. If I don't get to your question or questions during today's webinar, do not worry. A script with all the questions and answers will be posted on our webpage after this webinar has concluded, and so will this PowerPoint deck. So lastly, I'd like to encourage you to share this webinar with your social networks, with people that you know within your family, your friends, professional networks. And we really want to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to apply to our program. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. A little bit about myself. I'm Esther Gonzalez, and I'm the Scholarship Program Manager. I've been with SHPE for going on 5 years now. I'm very passionate about diversity and inclusion, and a fun fact is that I have attended 4 national conventions and over 10 RLDCs. Quick trivia, you all should know what RLDCs mean, but if not, we'll get to that at the end of this presentation. That is my email. Those are our Twitter handles, and so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us either way. If you have a question, it's very likely that somebody else has a question as well. This is our agenda. We are going to cover what the scholarship program is, what the current opportunities are, what the requirements are, what the timeline is, how to sign up for membership if you haven't already, how to apply, what the review process is, so you have some expectations about that, when we send notifications out, what your next steps are when you, if you are selected as a SHPE scholar, and how you can give back. So what is the scholarship program? Our scholarship program is addressing the underrepresentation of Hispanic and Latinx students in STEM education and industry. Financial need is one of the primary roadblocks for our community students persisting to graduation, and we want to change that. So our solution is providing as much financial assistance to as many students as we can, while actively advocating for the representation with our university and industry partners. Before we dive deeper into our program, I'd like to kind of gauge everybody. So if you can go ahead and let us know in the chat if you, or Twitter, bonus points if you do it via Twitter. If this is your first time applying to scholarships, let us know. That way I know how much detail to cover in this webinar. Okay, I have one person saying it's their first time applying. I want to say there's more than that. Yay, we have a lot of first timers. That's awesome. Well, we are so happy, so happy that you're joining us and that you're going to be applying this year. And we have more funds to give out. Actually, we have hundreds of thousands more dollars to give out this year than we did last year. So that is super great information. All right. So our scholarships are funded by 3 types of sources. We have those that are funded by SHPE directly that account for over 100 awards and over $600,000. Those that are funded by our corporate partners, that this year will account for over 75 recipients and over $300,000. And we also have those funded by individual donors that account for over 10 recipients and over $25,000. We are grateful for all of those donors, regardless of contribution amount, because even one scholarship in any amount can make a difference in a student's life. And I want to emphasize to all of you that everyone here, including SHPE, our corporate sponsors, and our individual donors, value you as a member of the STEM academic and professional community. And we believe that representation is important in STEM. All right, so there are 5 primary types of SHPE funded scholarships. We have a graduating high school senior, so that means you are going to be a senior now, and in the fall you will be a freshman in your undergraduate career. So the graduating high school senior scholarship. Undergraduate scholarship, that is for anybody who is at a minimum at a sophomore level or above. Professional scholarship, that is if you are a professional that is pursuing graduate school in STEM on a part-time status. Graduate scholarship, that means that you are pursuing graduate school in full-time status. And the dissertation scholarship, which is for full-time PhD students. The requirements, these are the primary requirements for all of our scholarships. So our basic requirements, 1 is that you're an active SHPE member. 2 is that you're a full-time student pursuing a degree in STEM, except for professionals where half-time status is required. But outside of that professional scholarship, you must be a full-time student. And for all of our scholarships, you must be pursuing a STEM degree. You must maintain a minimum of 2.75 GPA. This is very important. Unless otherwise specified, citizenship is not a requirement of our scholarships. So we do not have that as a requirement for our scholarships, again, unless it is specifically mentioned or specified in the opportunity. But for all of our SHPE funded scholarships, citizenship is not a requirement. For our corporate scholarships, the same minimum requirements apply, but there are some opportunities that have additional requirements. For example, they may designate that they would like specific majors only to apply. They'd like to open the opportunity only to a select list of schools or universities or regions within the United States. They may require citizenship for their opportunities, and that is all available on our scholarship listing that, if I have time, will show you, but is now live on our webpage. All right, so I did want to take a moment to go ahead and introduce Brianna and Alexis, who are not on the call with me today, but so you have a face to their names. This is our membership department. We have Brianna, who's our senior manager, and Alexis Medrano, who's our coordinator. And so if you have any questions in regards to your membership or you're not able to sign up for membership, please reach out to them, membership@shpe.org. And they can work out any sort of logistical issues that you have in regards to signing up for membership. These are the steps. I wanted to point it out because I always get an email asking, how do I do this? So this is a screenshot of our webpage. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a join link. Then you go ahead and click that, and you select join membership. And in addition to the over $900,000 in scholarship offerings that are available, we also have internship, fellowship, and co-op opportunities, a SHPE Career Center full of listings of careers in STEM. We provide tips for resume writing and interviewing, endless career and professional development opportunities, leadership training, and just so many ways to get involved with such a wide network. All right, so how do you know if your degree is considered STEM? There's a link on this PowerPoint that will be shared. There's also a link on the scholarship listing that has a list of all of the majors that are considered STEM designated by the national government. And if your degree is not listed, because it's really hard to keep track of every degree program offered by every institution in the US, but you feel that it qualifies as STEM, you can go ahead and email me and I'll ask you for a curriculum listing of all of your program requirements, and I can escalate that to our directors to confirm whether or not your degree qualifies. So this is the timeline. Today, applications open. On April 30th, they will close. Please give yourself enough time. I'll go over the requirements of the actual application itself. And so the sooner you get started, you're already ahead of the game by joining this webinar today. The sooner you can finish and ensure that you meet that deadline. In May and June, we review all of the applications. Award notices are mailed on July 1st. Fall disbursements begin July 15th. And at national, that date is incorrect, and I will update it, as are all the years in this presentation. Our national convention will be in Orlando, Florida, and I'll let you know how that impacts your attendance should you be there and what opportunities are available to you. And then in December, we ask to verify that you'll be enrolled in the spring. We ask to verify your transcript to ensure you still meet the requirements, and then we begin mailing the spring disbursements. Okay, so this is the link. You probably have already seen it. The application is live. The application opportunities are live. So that is where you go to apply. First thing you should do is verify that you meet the requirements, that you've activated your membership, and then gather your application materials. Things that you should keep in mind: name, contact info, your demographic information, financial information around FAFSA if you filled it out, if not, your family income information that you can self-report, your academic information, who you're going to ask for your letter of recommendation, resume, professional headshot, your essays, any links to exciting projects, accomplishments, any articles through, say, your school paper that's been written about you, anything like that. You want to start gathering all this in one central location so you can have it ready for your application. The great news is that our scholarship webinar series is intended to help you go through putting together your entire application without having to do everything all at once. So if you decide today an outcome of this webinar is to develop your plan, the next week our webinar is going to focus on resume building. That will be presented by Intel, who will give you kind of the corporate perspective on if you apply to a corporate scholarship, where your resume actually ends up and what the career prospects are of doing so. And then the following week we'll cover the letter of recommendation and then how to write your essay. So try to take advantage of this series as a way to pace out your application. This is basic information here. The financial information, we get a lot of questions about this. The information that you're going to provide is based on the latest FAFSA that you've submitted. If you have any questions about it, you can let me know. The FAFSA information is not required, so you're not restricted to applying only if you have applied for FAFSA. But we will ask you for your household income should you not provide FAFSA. Okay, academic information, what university and institution you will be attending. That is for this coming fall. So if you're a transferring student, make sure you include the institution for this fall. Your GPA, degree major, your academic level, again for this fall, full versus part-time. This year, we've seen a lot of students go part-time, take semester off, take like a lot of change in terms of enrollment. So remember that you're answering this according to fall. Your letter of recommendation. So we are going to ask for this information about your recommender: their first and last name, their email, their phone number, their title, and their organization. Make sure that it's somebody who knows you well and that can speak to your accomplishments personally. If you have any questions about, I think this should be the person, but I'm not sure, I recommend that you ask either your SHPE advisor, or if your chapter doesn't have an active advisor, you can go ahead and forward me those questions. I'm happy to help you sort through who the right person is to ask. Resume and professional headshot. So again, those details about how to write a professional resume will be provided next week. A professional headshot, just remember that not your Insta selfie, that future employers or future graduate school admissions officers will be able to see your photo, and so make sure it's a good representation of the type of person that you are and that you want to put forward. Okay, the essays are here. These are the essay questions. These are for our common application, and a lot of our scholarships, even those that are corporate funded or individually funded, use our common app. And so it really covers your academic and career trajectory to this point, your involvement with your community, with other organizations like SHPE or others, and how this scholarship can really impact your life and your education. In addition, there will be, for certain scholarships, there may be additional requirements, and you will see that when you click the Apply Here button on the scholarship opportunities listing page. All right, so there's also an opportunity to highlight your projects and or accomplishments. I love this photo. This is one of our recipients, I think, from 2 years ago, who created a 3D printed guitar. This is a really fun way to distinguish the work that you do, especially if you may be studying a degree program that is not traditional STEM or engineering or whatever makes your application unique and different. You really want to be able to highlight it here. Photos, videos, PDFs, YouTubes, whatever it is to really just show the reviewer what kind of out-of-the-box work that you're doing. We really want to see it, and it's a great way. I think it's an underrated part of the application, a great way to make your application stand out. All right, so the review process, February through April, your scholarship will be reviewed by our scholarship review committee that's comprised of over 90 professional members. And your application will be reviewed by at least two professionals. They are blind reviews, which means they won't know who they are reviewing. And then the reviews are collected and applications are ranked. The award notifications, as I mentioned, will happen July 1st. Make sure to add scholarships@shpe.org to your email contacts, and are also smarterselect.com. SmarterSelect is the online application platform that we use, and so I do get a lot of notifications from students, applicants saying that, you know, I didn't get a note, I didn't hear back, and sometimes it's just that our email was blocked, especially if you're using your student email address. So just make sure that we are added to your contacts. You know, hip hip hooray, you win an award. Then what are the next steps? We ask you to complete an online form that asks for specific document verification, including a thank you letter to the scholarship sponsor. We then process those documents just know that we do ask for official transcripts, and sometimes those take 5 to 10 days to be able to receive them. So that's something to keep in mind. And then our finance team will actually start dispersing your scholarship. We are using online payments now. So if you choose not to do direct deposit, we still have a paper check option, but we don't have to deal with checks getting lost in the mail or anything like that. They go directly to you, not to your college or university. And if they are mailed versus standard USPS mail. All right, so at the National Convention, there's an opportunity for all of our scholars will be invited to attend the High Achievers Breakfast, receive a SHPE Scholar Pin, a certificate, be highlighted on our social media. You may have been seeing the Scholar of the Weeks posted on Instagram, so we're going to continue to do that. There's also a photo opportunity with our CEO. All right, so once a SHPE Scholar, always a SHPE Scholar. There are many ways to give back. We encourage you all, as you go on to your careers, to really remember about this program and what it was able to give you in your educational career. Donating is only one way, but it also takes an army of people, a crowd, to really review all of the applications that we receive, so you can become a reviewer and also an advocate by letting your friends and families know about the opportunity that exists to everybody that could potentially qualify for it. All right, so what comes next? Next week, the following week, and the week after that, we have some more webinars to help you work through the different components of your scholarship application. Please be sure to register for those. The links are on our webpage. They're also on this PDF. So if you access this PDF, you'll have access to it. The last thing I want to let you all know, we're launching for the first time. Remember I mentioned early in the call about our RLDCs, the Regional Leadership Development Conferences. So those are events that are much smaller in scale than our national convention, but also much more affordable. The links based on your region, if you don't know your region, email me, but there's also a region map listed online. There are 3 events being held this year. Regions 1, 2, and 3 are having one conference. Region 4 and 6 are having another, and Region 5 and 7 are having another. And you can register for those events, and you do need to be registered for those events to be able to participate in this competition. It is a design competition. The competition itself will launch on March 1st and spans 2 weeks. But you are not working solely on this competition the entire time. There's just different deliverables due at different times over the course of those 2 weeks. You'll be able to engage with mentors, learn the design process from professionals that are actually in the design world right now, be able to work on your presentation skills, on prototyping, on designing in a world where our product and service design really needs to be able to account for VUCA, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. So I really would like to invite you all to participate. It's also participation something that you can highlight in your scholarship applications. There's over $10,000 in prizes. The winning team gets a national convention registration fee waiver, which is a huge deal. The deadline to register is February 26th. And while you do have to register for RLDCs, you can actually register for the competition before you complete your registration of the RLDCs. I think it's a phenomenal way to network with members across the country in a way that's kind of hard to do right now virtually. You will be placed in a team of 5 folks that are So 4 other team members that are not from your chapter, or we're gonna do our best to make sure that our teams are diversified in terms of chapter representation. So really, really take advantage of this opportunity to grow your network, learn, and really have a professional experience that distinguishes you, not only for things like our scholarship program, but also your future job opportunities. All right, so I'm gonna get to these questions here. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So the question is, are the teams assigned? The teams are assigned. And we did that at National Convention. Actually, this year, we will have an opportunity to sign up with a team. But one of the greatest highlights and a lot of positive feedback of the greatest things that people loved about participating in our competitions was meeting new people. So that's why we've kept that way. Oh no, it said I'm muted. I hope y'all can hear me, because if not, that is not good. If you are an applicant, can you be a reviewer for the undergraduate program? Unfortunately, no. Once you apply to our scholarships, that pulls you out of the bucket of reviewers that can review. If I'm applying to a graduate degree, should I sign up for the graduate or associate membership? Graduate. It is cheaper than the associate membership and also more applicable to where you're at in terms of pursuing your education. Do high school seniors need a resume? Yes, you do. It does not mean you need work experience, because there's lots of ways that you can highlight the things that you've done in high school and in life on a resume. It's more about being able to transcribe your experiences into a paper format that is only going to continue to be required of you in your future career. Are all the scholarships for spring semester? No. So you apply now, you find out July 1st, and then whatever the amount you're granted is, that gets split in half of it being given to you in fall, and the other half in spring, assuming that you maintain the requirements. Is a professor who knows you well the best person to ask for the recommendation? Yes, absolutely. Somebody who knows you well. Who is eligible to write it? Ideally, a professor or an educator. If you're a graduating high school senior, you know, one of your teachers or counselors will work. In some cases, it may be a professional supervisor, depending on what scholarship you're applying to and what you're trying to show. So a supervisor can be the right person. Not members of your chapter or other students, no matter how well they know you and how many accolades they can share about you. You really want to pick somebody who is either a professor or a supervisor. How many of the essay questions have to be answered? There are 3 main essay questions that are longer in nature that have to be answered. Yeah. If the student that will be, Erica, you asked me about which GPA would be used. So GPA, we use your latest GPA. So since you're applying now, it's whatever was on your last transcript that you've received. Okay, for full or part-time status, yes. You talk about fall 2021. No matter what questions being asked of you, always answer about fall 2021. Let's see. All right, I think I answered. Okay, we have more questions. Let's see where I left off. Cool. If you get selected as a scholarship recipient, do you get sponsored for national convention only? Our scholar, I'm sorry if I didn't make this clear. If you become if you're selected as a scholarship recipient, you do not get sponsored for national convention. You get invited to selected events should you go, but you don't get covered in terms of registration, hotel, and flight. That being said, there are a few of our corporate sponsors that do support our students in terms of if you win their scholarship, they fund you, but SHPE does not fund you, and that's not guaranteed, and they would only let you know that after you win, if they're doing that again this year, which I'm sure some of them are. How many applicants? Last year we had over 2,500 applicants. Are health majors eligible? Yes, that's another a myth I want to dispel. So a couple myths. One is you don't need to be a citizen to apply. Two is you don't need to be an engineer to apply. Any STEM major. The STEM major list is really, really long, really, really extensive. So let all your STEM major friends know. The third item is that you do not need to be Hispanic or Latinx to apply. Those are 3 myths. I just want to make sure that I clear that. If you're an international student enrolled in a normal PhD, but you're stuck in your home country due to the pandemic, can you still apply? Yes. Email me in terms of the data that you don't have. There's a question about would I prefer to see letters of recommendation from a faculty member, though it might be more impersonal, or from a graduate student who knows the student better? I think it depends on what that relationship is. If it's a graduate student that's in your SHPE chapter, probably no. But if it is a TA or somebody else who's had like a teaching relationship with you, then that may be okay. I think just email me the specifics and I can clarify. If you are a community college transfer student, yes, you apply to undergraduate. Do you need to be a sophomore to apply if you are an undergraduate student? So I'm assuming that maybe you don't have sophomore status, but you're not a graduating high school senior. You would still apply to the undergraduate scholarship. Are the scholarships renewable? As of now, no, with the exception of the Spectrum Scholarship. But stay tuned because we have a major announcement coming out on February 15th about a huge scholarship, renewable scholarship opportunity. So stay tuned to hear about that. Okay, I know there are quite a few questions left and I wasn't able to answer all of them, but I do want to go ahead and conclude this webinar in the sake of time. So you know where my email is. I'm going to pull the list of questions I have not answered, and I am also going to list kind of all the frequently asked questions and any questions that I didn't answer on our webpage by the end of the week. But you all know how to get a hold of me. It's been a pleasure being here with you today. I look forward to all of your applications, and I look forward to also you all participating in our VUCA challenge. Thank you so much, and buenas noches, familia.